Hello and welcome back to Silverstone Shooting Centre for the second season of the Hawke British Minirifle Championship. We're on round 4, which means it's the business end of the season. Jim Starley seems to be edging closer and closer to his second title, although he's been closely followed by Ben Ducker, less than a percent in it in round 3. Also, we've got Kelvin Leeton and Tom Ellaway fighting it out behind them. Then we're on to the senior category where Lee Hopgood seems to be running away with it, John.
He does a bit, yeah. Lee seems to have taken this championship to heart. Brown Mike seems the second real championship he's done. He's shooting very well, so at the moment he's winning all of it. See how the rest of the season goes. Yeah,
who else have we got in the run-ins? So we've got Josh Hicks has been with us. He's not really been performing as much as we wanted him to, really.
He's been in and out shooting, really. He's picking his rounds to go, so I think, but obviously with 6 rounds, with only one dropped, you've really got to be in all of it to really perform at the top.
And 7 stages ahead of us today, John. We've got some interesting surprises for the shooters.
Yeah, as the season's progressed, we decided to push a bit more and doing some different things, really. So.
Okay, so here are the championship standings after round 3, and it's Jim Starley taking the overall one. Only 3 points in it with Ben Ducker, then Tom Ellaway in third, Kelvin Leeton 2 points behind Tom.
It's been very close. I mean, that's it. There's been the 4 of them. Anyone could win it in the last 2 rounds to go. It really is that close. But I think it's a Jim, Ben for the win, and it's Tom and Kelvin arguing for third at the moment. Lee appears to have senior wrapped up so far. Okay, so round 5, stage 1. Nice and simple stage for them. Little short stage. Targets are only about 12 metres away, but they've got to move laterally back and forth to try and see each target because they can't see any of them more than one spot. A lot of backwards and forwards in this stage.
Okay, so up first is Tom Ellaway taking on the targets.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. It's a thinking stage, this. You literally have to, the question is, do you go along right to left like you would read a book, or do you try and remember where the targets are and then traverse side to side? But obviously the minimum amount of movement makes it faster, so it's a thinking one.
It's an easy one to top up on the targets as well, isn't it? Sometimes you can't remember which one you shot, so you end up throwing a few more bullets in.
We're going to see that, yeah. I mean, I don't think we will from Kelvin, but you'll see people where they thought had shot a target, so they'll put the 2 more in something else, and you walk up and score it and find one target's got 4 shots in, next one's got none. It's very easy done. That's why you talk laterally thinking. So peripheral vision is very important at this stage.
Especially with the bright sunshine.
Are you ready?
Martin Patrick up next.
They're shooting micro targets. Remember the alpha zone, which is the high scoring zone, 5 points, is only 4 inches high and 3 inches across, so it's not very big. And they're shooting about 15, 18 metres away. But that little light strike would have hurt Martin there in his time. Did you finish the load and show clear? Yeah, I think you'll be frustrated with that one. A light strike on a short stage at this will hurt a bit. Here's Marty Secker.
Are you ready? Struggled with some good issues this season. So let's see how the first round treats him. Oh, light strike.
She's cursing him again, isn't that one?
Pretty simple. Shame about the light strike. Paul van den Bosch, the man
leading super senior by a country mile, so he's doing very well, Paul. Very experienced shooter. This sort of stage I think he'll like.
Moving purposefully. Obviously not great with his knees.
I think you seem confident there.
And Here are the results after stage 1. Jim Starley taking the win, and it's Lee Hopgood in second place.
Very good. Senior shooter taking second ahead of Ben and Nick Townder, another senior shooter. So that was a stage where a bit of brains came into it as well as fast shooting. So, but Jim took it just by a smart amount.
Tom Elway outside of the top 10. That's not going to do his championship hopes any good.
And you saw Marty Secker with that gun problem. That knocked him right down to the bottom of it. It was a bit of a pain.
Yeah, ahead of Steve Durant. He won't be happy there, will he?
No, Steve won't be happy with that little score, I don't think. And then Martin Patrick again with that light strike. Just going to show a little short stage like that, a reasonably minor gun issue will knock you right the way down.
Yeah, Dave Salmon's all the way in 25th. It's going to extend Lee Hopgood's lead.
Targets. What do you shoot? Now, there are lots of different types of targets in practical mini rifle, but the most common one is a paper target. One of these. That is an IPSC standard target. This is a mini target. There are also what we call micro targets, but all of them score the same. There's also a full-size target. Now, the important thing about these is that they have different scoring zones. You have an alpha, a Charlie, and a delta. There's no Bravo because it refers to the head shape, which you no longer shoot. Now, in mini rifle, you get 5 points for an alpha, you get 3 points for a Charlie, and you get 1 point for a delta. So you can see accuracy is actually far more important in mini rifle than it is in some of the other kinds of practical shooting. Difference between a 5 and a 1 is obviously quite a big score. Important to notice, 2 rounds per target. Okay, you can shoot more in there if you want to. You shoot 100 in there if you really feel like it. Just take your time. Only the 2 top scores count. So if you put 2 alphas, 2 Charlies, your score is going to be 2 alphas, 5 points each. Now again, designs of this car, this is a micro target. This is designed to simulate about a 250 metre distance for a full-size target, but obviously most range is a bit shorter than that. We're the only range in the country shoots 100 metres, but it means you simulate that distance. A mini target, which is a more common one you're going to see most places, is a 40% size of a full-size target, but still the same scoring sizes. And it's 2 rounds per. Now, additional to that, you also get penalty targets, red ones. They can be another colour, there's another question about it. A lot of competitions, they'll shoot a brown target and will have a white as a penalty target. And some places, including us, we will shoot a white target and have a red as penalty target. You need to know when you get there which is which. It can make a difference. Now, penalty targets will be minus 10 points. Okay, stage 2. Now, this is fairly similar to stage 1, except we've made it much harder. The targets are 25 metres away, and again, you've got a wide, little short space to work on. They can't see any more than 3 targets in one spot. Bear in mind there are 12 there, lots of moving back and forth, and I guarantee guys are going to be missing targets on this stage.
I think everybody's going to be happy with this one, John.
Yeah, well, we start them off easy, and then this one's harder, and then they're going to hate the next stage even more. So.
There's another one where it's another memory stage. You've got to remember where your bullets have gone, the angles that you've shot at as well. So you've got to plan the stage out.
Well, also it's maths. If you notice, look at the numbers of the bow. We didn't take those down to be nice. So in theory, if the competitor's smart enough, they will look at the numbers and they will see which targets they can shoot, and they will shoot the numbers in order. So, for example, if you can see targets at 2, 4, and 6, from what position you shoot those, then you move across and shoot numbers at 1, 3, and 5. But it's a memory thing, and the problem, the moment the buzzer goes, your maths goes out the window as well, and so is your memory. So this is definitely a stage for planning, which could be shot well.
Yeah, and on top of that as well, you've got to count your ammunition as well, and change your mag at the most efficient point.
Well, technically they shouldn't need a mag change here, if they just shoot the rounds they need. But yes, if someone's shot too many, they will need to top up and need to reload and go from there. And this is Jack, new shooter, hasn't shot here for a while.
I'm not going to guess at what he scored there, John.
Yeah, we're not going to start that game, are we? We're just calling it alphas, and you clearly can't see anything.
Certainly hitting something.
Yeah, Jack's he's a current direct armed force, I think, in Marines. So he's got some firearms experience.
I could see a couple of alphas there, John.
No, we're not having that. We're not playing that game. We really aren't. He did need to top up though, so I think he's going back and forth himself. This is first or second competition, Jack. So he's a lot to learn in terms of the position type stuff and speed. But he's no doubting his shooting skill.
Seems to be doing all right so far. And here's Jim Starley, the person at the top of the championship, the 2020 champion.
Now Jim will plan this. He will have planned the stage and shot it exactly according to his plan. So I don't see much excess movement from Jim today. can see how still he is when he shoots. A lot of people are still moving around. He's got good muscle control in terms of skill, in terms of pistol shooting. It's good to watch.
Only shooting what he needs, 2 per target.
Yeah, you don't see him topping up and putting 3 in each, do you? The difficulty here is that you zoom in so you can see the target scores, but it limits your peripheral vision. So you end up looking at the target, and then you miss one walking past it. So what Jim would shooting is either both eyes open, or he'll shoot once and eyes open. I think he's actually missed one there. I gotta say, I think he's gone back to that position, or is he just checking?
Looks like he's just checking.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. I think he's hit those twice.
So here are the results. Kelvin Leeton taking the overall win, only just from Ben Ducker.
That must be very frustrating for Ben. 0.4%. That's what, less than a quarter of a second or more, 2 points. But Jim, you see, knocked him down with that. He did actually go back there, and I think he did overhit those targets.
And, Paul van den Bosch putting in a good showing in the super senior category.
Oh, look, it's Lee Hawke right at 19th, so he did fantastic in the first stage and dropped it all in the second stage. So I bet it's frustrating. But then Nick Townder again, senior, they're not shooting him as well.
Wayne Hemmings. Steve Durant, he's not having a good day, is he?
He's not, no. I'm not sure it's gun problems or he's just not being very good.
Go to the latter, I think. Okay, so we've got plenty more stages, plenty more action coming up, so please stay tuned and join us after the break.
Now stage 3, this is a monster stage. 24 targets, that's a minimum of 48 rounds. So at least 2-3 magazines to do this. They can move anywhere in this area here, which is quite a big area, but they've got to shoot all those targets from a distance around about 40 metres. We really are going to struggle here. I guarantee there'll be some 0 scores on this one.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to drain your muscle energy.
I think this is tough. Even when I was writing it, the guys were saying you can't do that. That's a bit unfair, but because you see all the targets the same height, they're all the same sort of distance away. The capacity just to walk past or miss them is very high, and also because we've given so much area to manoeuvre in, there's probably 100 ways of shooting this stage. So it's a good stage to shoot, but not easy to actually clear it very well. Lee Hawke good though. See how he gets on. He did very well in the first one, not so good in the second. So see how he gets on with the third one. Maybe stretching his brain is an age thing for him.
There is a lot to think about on this stage.
The problem is you sit back here, you think you've shot them, and you change your position. You go, I don't remember that one. Did I hit them? I'm not sure. You put 2 more rounds into it, and I guarantee there'll be in the course of the day we'll have targets there with 6, 7, 8 rounds in it because the shooter hasn't realised what they're doing.
Again, here's Paul van den Bosch. Let's see how his peripheral acuity treats him.
See, Paul's just taking advantage of some range furniture to get some positioning, which is good. We didn't stop that. The range commands can stop you doing that, but also he wants to make sure. And at 40 odd metres, scope rifle, the guys with red dots, unmagnified red dots, are really going to loathe me here because it's like I said, it's a micro target at 40 metres. Good eyesight, it's fine. Paul, as you can see, uses magnifier, so he's got a red dot sight with a 3 times magnifier on it. So that's going to be easier, but it's going to be tough for those with unmagnified red dot sights.
I think somebody's competing on this one with an iron sight.
There is, yeah. There's a man iron sight one. Iron sights are very accurate, but they're obviously slower than picking up from magnified or dot optics. The only downside to this stage is actually quite dull to film, isn't it? Really?
yeah. It's not the action-packed stuff that we're used to.
No. Well, you know.
I'm here with Paul van den Bosch. Paul, you just shot the big monster stage. How'd you get on?
Yeah. With a brain as old as mine, trying to remember what you shot and what you haven't is bad news. But I did the best I could.
It's a fairly tough stage.
It is a very tough stage. It's one of
Did
the
you enjoy it
toughest
though?
stages.
Did you enjoy the stage?
It. Yeah, because it's a test, and I always enjoy a test. But it was a bastard, basically.
Well, thank you for that technical term. Good luck the rest of the match, Paul.
Thank you.
So colourful words from Paul van den Bosch there. Here's Steve Durant taking on the same stage and he's staying way back.
So look at that. That's it. He's actually gained 10 metres or lost 10 metres distance, but he means he can use the furniture upright for better accuracy. Now, Steve's got quite a lot of experience in long distance shooting, so this may well be the way to shoot it.
Do you think you'd be able to see more of the targets from there as well? Well, it depends on the angle, I suppose.
When I set the stage up, I wandered around that area and I found at least 10 places where you could see a max number of targets, but it meant more moving. And it was very, even my setting the stage up, I couldn't find a pure way of shooting it. So I think there's no real right or wrong way of shooting this one. But obviously the testing will be in the scores.
Oh, we know Steve. Steve would have watched somebody shoot this stage and gone, I'm not going to do it like that.
Hi, here is Steve Durrant. Steve, you just shot the big monster stage. How'd you get on?
Pretty well, I think. It's sort of same old for me. Long range, where it's sort of a little bit slower, a bit more about precision. Done pretty well. Most pleased that I thought didn't miss any of them, because last time I missed a few on the more complex stages in planning. So
Well, it's interesting. On this stage, most people were shooting a bit further forward. You chose to go longer distance to get better shooting positions. Seemed to work.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was a stage about speed. The misses were costing people dearly, so I was looking for a stable position where I could take a bit of time to think and then get the higher points to make that time worth it.
Well, look, well done. Good luck rest of the day.
Super. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, let's see where Steve ended up. It was Ben Ducker taking the win in stage 3. Quite a way ahead of Jim Staley, Steve Goff, Tom Ellaway. Steve ran down in 6th, so it wasn't a great stage, but still mid top 10.
I think there on stage you'll see he was slower but better scores. So, but it was a combination of both that matters.
And it was Lee Hopgood taking the win in the senior category, then Nick Towndrow there, and Dave Salmons.
Kelvin down to 15th. He won't be happy with that. That will have hurt his competition with Tom.
Yeah, and then just a big list of zeros.
I did say that would be zeros as well.
Now, there'll be numbers of targets out there. You could have anywhere from 2 to 15 to 20. We run a 42 target stage here once for fun. So you've got to make sure it's 2 rounds per target. Carry enough ammunition to go through to shoot all the targets and take into account some problems. You'll also get other kinds of targets. You'll get what's called poppers. These are big metal plate targets, or plate racks, which are smaller plates, normally between 3 and 6 inches wide. And these are metal targets, so they must hit and they must fall over to score. You score 5 points per one of those shot. So you can hit it, and it doesn't fall over, it doesn't count. So you've got to make sure you hit those you can. We have different kinds of poppers, there's different kinds. They came made of steel, came made of polymer. We tend to the polymer ones get a bit inconsistent. And you have plate racks. We have 6, 12, 18 of those. We have lots of them here. They're quite common, quite popular. We also have some different targets. We shoot these little yellow balls in the competitions here, which is reasonably rare. They're made out of ballistic polymer, and you have to knock them off the pedestal to shoot. There's all kinds of things you do. I've even seen beer cans out there to shoot, so arguably wouldn't be technically legal target, but it's quite fun to shoot it. Okay, so that's what you're going to see out on the course of fire. If it's red or white, depending on the course of fire, don't shoot it. Make sure you put 2 rounds each target. If you're not sure, and the idea here is you can't quite see the scoring from anything more than about 20 metres away, put another round in. Okay, if you're not sure you've hit it, another round in will cost you less time than a miss, which will see another 10-point penalty if you miss on target. All right, that's it on target. Stage 4, after all that running around, we're being kind on this one. They have to shoot. There are 6 metal plates they must shoot with their left shoulder, and then they must change magazines and then shoot the right 6 metal plates from their right shoulder. And they can use this barrier to lean upon. Nice simple stage, but I bet we'll see some problems.
Okay, so whoever has been practicing their weak arm, weak shoulder should prevail on this one. Jim Starley up first. He's
Yeah, I always try and make sure there's a weak shoulder shoot of some kind in all the competitions we do. And again, it's just Jim, as I showed, has his weak shoulder, not necessarily weak hand, so you can just keep on the stage bit a slightly different. So sometimes we designate has to be a change of shoulder, sometimes designate has to be a change of hand. So this one we kept it. But 50-metre plates, they're 6-inch plates. It's reasonably straightforward, but we are going to see people rattle through, not change the mag, and then get 6 procedurals in the pocket on the following set, which will re-upset them when they go knock them all down and find out there's 6 procedurals in. Jack did well though, and he's changed his mag, which is useful.
yeah, he's put it on his weak shoulder now, using his weak hand as well.
Yeah, you see, because he's got some military training, the military forces tend to train whole side weak shooting on the basis that if they're injured in theatre, then they have to be able to shoot with their arm. So the whole thing changes over. So you tend not to swap arms, etc., but the whole side of the body. Tom Lloyd just taking a couple of rounds to get his iron, but then
Well, he's not going to be happy with that, is he?
Out shooting is strong hand as well. It's interesting you do these stages. Some people are actually better with their weak shoulder because they concentrate more, because they have more to think about. They're slower, but they tend to be more accurate. Whereas on the strong side, they tend to rattle through rounds and end up missing a few.
I don't think Tom's proving that point.
No, I think Tom's equally crap on both arms. This one, it seems. We are a bit cruel sometimes, aren't we?
Okay, shooter, are you ready?
Matt Cox, not seen him for a while. Left-handed shooter. He should win purely for that reason, if asked me.
4 rounds to get his eye in.
You have to get that in, didn't you? Because he's a left-handed shooter like I am. A bit fuddly there, isn't
Once
he?
he got his eye in, though, they all just toppled. Let's see what he can do with his weak shot.
This is why I put the mag change in there. A lot of people practice this transition one to the other. You throw a mag change in and all of a sudden your brain goes out the window wondering where you put a mag. It's interesting to see some of the more experienced shooters still struggle with that.
Jamie took too many rounds to get his eye in there. So let's see what Ben can do. Great.
Well, I think we might be seeing the winning stage here.
Absolutely.
Have I cursed it?
Oh.
Oh no. Okay. In a speed shoot like this, a mag issue is going to be a bit of a killer for him.
If he didn't have that mag issue, that would have been a win.
Oh, well, yeah. I think can't criticise the shooting there. Just unlucky.
Are you ready?
Let's see what Kelvin can do. He's the one fighting out with Tom Ellaway. Tom Ellaway didn't have a great showing here, so he could scrape back some points.
You see he's missed one there. The trick to shoot in place is to assume it's hit and gone down and move to the next one. If you miss it, then go back to it. Otherwise, you're too slow, waiting for it to fall down. You have to shoot, make the assumption it's gone down, onto the next one. Turns out if you go back, it's actually faster. That's been pretty good run though. Certainly better than Tom's. So I think that'll compassion to two of them. Without taking this one.
Here's Martin Patrick. Don't see much of him in this season, have we?
He's been in and out. Again, he's done some rounds, not others. So he's quite one of the Northampton targets club. So they tend to come en masse or not at all.
A bit
Again,
of rain pop.
See that fiddling around changing the mag is great. It cheers me up to see them struggle. It means I've made a stage which is just challenging them.
Other people's pain puts a smile on your face, does it?
Pretty much for shooting, yeah.
Not in general real life. Wait, where do you get your comedy from, A&E?
Well, moving on that point.
Well, it was Ben Ducker taking a win. That was a great run. And then Jim Starley.
Even with that mag issue, Ben was such a fast shooting through. And then Tom, obviously, despite it looked a bit fluffy, did very well. So just to show we are completely wrong.
Yeah, and Kelvin Leeton coming way behind.
Yeah, so it's nip and tuck those two. Dave Salmons is not so good again with Nick Towndrow Senior going a bit higher. So I think from his perspective, he'd be struggling a bit in this particular round. And Martin Patrick, you saw, it's that struggle with the mag change. It just slows everything down. His score is very good, but obviously zeroed out.
Okay, well, still 3 stages to go over on the 100-metre range. A bit more running and gunning, all on the paper targets. I think there's some balls coming up as well.
Yeah, we'll challenge him here. We've had some short distance, now some long.
Okay, this is stage 5. Now, a little short stage here, a little bit of clambering under things I've got to get. You've got 3 IPSC micro targets one side, which they have to shoot under the barrier or around the barrier. Once they've got that done, you've got another 6 IPSC micro targets this side to swing round. Little short stage, should challenge them first off.
So this is one that they can sink their teeth into. This is one that they'll enjoy. The
Yeah.
likes of Jim, Ben, Tom, Kelvin, Paul van den Bosch as well.
Very different stage this. Little short, sharp, targets no more than about 4 metres away, but a lot of awkward shooting positions and a few behind areas you can't see. So there should be some fast stages here, but a quick drop shot to a delta or something here will nappy your score quite quickly.
Some tidy shooting by Paul there, tight grouping.
This is one stage you can say they're alpha score because you can see them, not this 100-metre stuff where you just basically BS it.
See what Nick Towndell can do in the senior category, along with Lee Hopgood and Dave Salmons.
Yeah, not seen Nick today in terms of film, so it's good to see him out shooting.
Nice quick transition.
He's quick on his feet, especially for a senior. He's a very experienced shooter, Nick. A lot of pistol shooting as well.
Nice tidy round that. There's Vian Davis. He's in the senior category as well. We forget about Vian.
Well, brand new shooter. It's only the first major competition. He's certainly been enjoying himself and improved every stage he's had. It's got better. He's had some gun issues as well in terms of jams halfway through stage, which really hurt him. But I think he's enjoying it.
The other person he really wants to beat is his son Tom.
It is, yes. There's definitely some father-son rivalry there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's good to see.
It's a good family sport. I mean, we have a lot of father-son shooters. Don't have any mother-daughter shooters yet, which would be nice if we did. Not as many women shooters shoot. But, it's getting bigger and better, but I see you can't force them. But it'd be nice to have more.
We do have a few couples as well with the Bartletts.
Yes, it's a few married couples. I kind of wonder what the conversation around the dinner table is. One beats the other, but.
Some tiny shooting there too, right in the same hole.
Yeah, this is Dan shooting. As you can see the experience of shooters, some are very, very fast on their feet, some are a bit more deliberate. But the main thing is obviously safety for the shooter. They always say watch the target for a first competition, don't get disqualified. Because it's very easily disqualified if you're not good with your trigger finger or your muzzle. But that was exemplary, very good.
Here's Neil Wheeler.
Again, new shooter. He's come on leaps and bounds. For a lot of the competitions, he was shooting a rented gun, so he didn't have his own gun at all. But now he's got his license, etc. So you can actually shoot the competitions without a license. Obviously, because we have rental guns you can shoot here. But for the most part, it's very hard to shoot a gun which is not yours. This is now his own gun, so obviously he's improved dramatically since he's got his own gun.
So he's got no excuses, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, so he shot my camera with a rented gun, did he?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You're not going to let him forget that.
I'm not, no.
It's a cheap GoPro, for God's sake. Get
wasn't.
over it.
I was amazed at the shot, to be honest. It's at 100 metres.
Yeah, well, you did put it underneath a target. There's no one to blame but yourself there. Wasn't even a good one. Looks like Neil's had some fun here. Well, we're happy chatting about your cameras. He's had a couple of misfeeds there, which is going to hurt his score, especially in a short stage like this. The longer stages where accuracy is more important, a gun jam won't be as dramatic. But a little short stage like this, yeah, it's a killer.
Well, here are the results for stage 5, with Jim Starley taking the overall victory ahead of Ben Duck. Very close again between those two.
Yeah, those two, it's definitely a competition between first and second and third between Tom and Kelvin, very close. Nick Townder, look at his score, nice score that as well.
And Kelvin Leeton down in 4th place was actually the quickest time.
And look, Vian beat his son.
I'll be happy about that.
That car journey home is going to be a quiet one, isn't it? And then Dan down, again, very deliberate shooting, nice and safe, so it's good to have you shooting that way. And Neil Wheeler, again, that gun problem, again, murdered the score completely. It's unfortunate.
Now I've put in a very simple course of fire here, a couple of targets down the bottom. And what we're going to do is the process of manoeuvring around the range from side to side, making sure that our muzzle is pointed in a safe direction, which is obviously downrange, and shooting around a barrier. Now it's only a very short movement here, but it's designed to sort of show the process behind it. And one thing we tend to find with new shooters is that they're very used to the concept of being a bit Hollywood and shooting the gun and manoeuvring the gun with it tucked into the shoulder. So you see on TV the guys at SWAT, wherever it's going to be, they'll move around like this. They're constantly doing this, going around, shooting around. Okay? Now the reason why that's used in military and police is because they're shooting at things that are going to shoot back at them. Okay? Don't care how dangerous these paper targets are. None of them are armed, none are going to shoot me. So what we're looking for is speed. Now if you think about it, once you have your up on your shoulder and you're moving around, by definition, your movement is restricted, and so is your vision, because you're looking down the scope. It's a different process. For practical mini rifle or practical shooting, it's how fast you can manoeuvre it. And you can time, you can do this yourself. You can get yourself a guitar or a banjo or even a stick, and see how fast it takes you to manoeuvre front and back with it in your shoulder, and then change it and take the gun away from you. I always say as a training we do, it's a gun, but it's only a gun when you're aiming it. Other than that, it's a big stick. Now, if you have it away from your body, your capacity to move is much faster because my arms act as suspension for the gun rather than it being tucked to my shoulder. So the first thing we teach people is take away this sat in the shoulder, stick the gun out here, okay, away from the body. It also means if I'm manoeuvring around a range, I've got to make sure the muzzle-less gun is pointed down range. I swing it beyond 90 degrees and get disqualified. Same thing applies, gun in my shoulder. If I want to run that direction, my shoulders are pointing that direction. So by definition, my gun will swing in that direction. If I want to run that way, into my shoulder, I'm going to struggle. If I have it away from my body, I can very quickly run that way and still keep that muzzle pointed down range. Okay, so up close, you're restricting yourself. Further away gives you a chance to manoeuvre around, and you can concentrate on the barrel being a safe direction. The other thing about it is that the speed of going round the barrier is also based on moving the gun. You move the gun around the barrier rather than your whole body around the barrier. It's faster. Same thing applies. If I want to start over here and I've got the gun in my shoulder and I'm shooting around the barrier, I've got to come round here, then shoot again. If I have the gun away from me, I can shoot, bring it back against myself, up again. I'm faster in terms of movement and I'm faster in terms of the gun. After a small little short stage of stage 5, we're on to stage 6. Now stage 6 gives them a 90 metre target. They have 5 IPSC mid targets at about 90 metres and also 6 full-size IPSC plates. They can move anywhere around here and they can lean the tyre as they want. We're being quite generous that time, but hopefully get some good scores and some good times.
Something completely different.
I do like plates at long distance because these are ones where you hit the plate and it doesn't go down immediately. And so if you sit there and watch it fall, your time gets ruined. So you have to literally rattle through the plates and they just very slowly fall. So it's one of those ones where confidence is good. But we have given them something to lean off. So Ben's showing here, he's taking advantage of the tyres to lean off, and that enables to get some better shots.
That's the famous poppers. Some people struggle with these. You've got to hit the popper right at the top, otherwise it won't go down.
Yeah, it's the top towards the middle. It's down the bottom of the plate, yes, it'll just make a nice noise. But it's sort of halfway up on the top. Obviously, the higher it is, the quicker it will go down. So he's done the right thing. Shoot plates first, because you can normally quick on those and then take more time on the targets to go.
I'm not going to comment on what he scored on those. If the target's at the back, I can't see.
Let's not. Yeah. At least you can say the plates went down. I won't call you out for that.
Oh, you give me that one, will you, John? First plate down.
See, that was going. Tom should have moved straight on for that one, but it is hard. And again, on time aspect, if it's going down, hitting the round will go down faster, but it'll still go down. So did you need that round or not? It's a confidence thing, and especially at 90 metres. Remember, these guys are zoomed in at probably 4 or 5 times optics, so they're seeing very close-up areas. But it's very hard for them to suddenly manoeuvre across other ones. So it's good stages. I quite like this.
Yeah, so Tom just went from left to right. So he did the three plates. Hit the other 3 plates.
Again, there's no right or wrong way. I also get that Matt will shoot it completely differently again. He's left-handed shooter, you see, so you tend to shoot, like you read the book, left to right. But right-handed shooters do the same thing with brain-wise, so technically, with the shotgun, it can go the way. You tend to go right to left for the shotgun, because the recoil brings your shoulder round, left-hand shooter, and right. The left-hand and right-hand different. He struggled his last plate there. Got it?
He's going to Mullery score that.
Again, this is one where the scores are more important than time. If you tend to take another 5-6 seconds and get all alphas, those extra 5 points for the alpha compared to 1 for a delta will make a big difference in the overall score.
He's topped up on a few of those.
Well, yeah, it's a Northampton thing. The club, they do like to triple tap things on longer distance stuff. You know, it's that confidence shot. It's sometimes really good because it obviously includes a score, but it's got extra shot. It's quite a time-consuming thing. The jam's not going to help though.
He's struggling to get his eye in here on the poppers. First one down, as you can see there.
Yeah.
There we go. Finally gets there. Well done, Matt.
I don't think you like that. Another NTSC, Martin. He's had a mare today. Right? He's a good shooter, but the scores today haven't really reflected it. It's one of those bad days, I think.
So everybody's so far going to the right on these tyres. seems to be working now. Well, I say that.
Stop doing that. Just shut up. There's no more commentary.
That's a shame for Matchwick.
Yeah, it's a proper one. That's a jam round, then the second mag is jammed, and it's not racking now. So I think you'd rather go home now. I think at this point.
You put 4 into that first one.
Yeah. It's not his day, is it, with this gun? It's not doing me favours at all. See, that was good. It was going, so he just took the next shot. So that was a good shooting from Matt at the end, but I think that was a struggle for him.
We've still got a couple of stages ahead of us. That's the end of stage 5.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
Still on stage 6, series Steve off. Both around the tyres as everybody else so far we've seen. Take it down on 3 poppers instantly.
That's good shooting, that went down very quick. Very confident shooting here, it seems.
Put about 6 bullets into that
Oh, that's a
target
shame.
though.
Yeah, the first 2 went down perfectly, so he'd be pleased with that though. That's good shooting.
Here's Jack Nichols. Again over to the right, quickly down. Iron straight away.
Very good.
Oh, he's a shooting there, isn't he? There you go, that goes down. Super target so far. Nice and tidy. See if we can deal with these last 3. First one down, second one, third.
Very good.
Good
Very
stuff.
Good. Nice shooting there.
A round of applause. So here are the results for stage 6. Inevitably it was Jim Starley, but Jack Nichols with that fantastic run that we just saw.
It was a good run, but obviously Jim nipped him there, quite close though. And then Ben coming up, and then Lee Hopgood again, first senior. That's one. Kelvin Lee a little bit further down as well.
So Tom Davis in around about 4th place. That's a good run by him.
Yep, beats Dad. Dad down to 19th, so they're back talking again in the car. Then Martin Patrick, you see how that hurt his score there completely.
Neil Whelan having a good day, is he?
And look at Tom Holloway. I think he'd rather forget that stage entirely. That obviously had some, I assume, gun problems or just towards the stage.
Okay, last stage of the day, stage 7. I'm back on the wobbly block, I'm afraid. We know how I love balancing on this block. All the shots will be taken standing on this block, and there are 25 IPSC steel plates. Ranges from 10 metres to 75 metres. So if they know their zeros and know their holdovers, they should rattle through the stage pretty well.
Right,
So should be able to do this with 1 mag.
Yeah, 25 rounds. No problem at all.
Let's see how many people do that. So first we've got Gary.
I do try and make the stages so that there's no, for example, a Chris Vector that I shoot is a 30 round mag, so to have a 30 round stage would be unfair for Vector shooters. And there are little mag extenders, so 25 rounds, all mags pretty much going to cover those. But yeah, 25 rounds, 25 targets and plates, they're going to be more than 25.
Yeah, Gary's definitely going to need to change a magazine here.
Well, he's on a mag, just on the poppers. Inch note, starting with the furthest targets. Generally, I would think the best way of shooting this is on near targets first and then move further away, because that way your holdover, so your position with the scope, will be consistently moving the same direction. When he's going away, he's going the other way, but taking the harder plates first. Arguably, I think it's a tough call. The thing about here is put the target in front of some eyes, so they can't see where their rounds are going. With the sand plates, they can see where they're high or low, but on that, they're not going to know. You're right, I am quite mean.
I wasn't going to say it.
But no,
Other people will.
I don't hang out around emergency theatres.
Laughing at ill children.
It's like I'm some pain parasite. Like, yeah, cheers.
Like one of those demons out of Hellraiser.
God, lovely this is going to be, isn't it? Just want to point out to the viewers, I am not. I'd like
He really is generally a nice guy.
I'd like to put a tough day for shooting. I really do.
There's Dan Starnes.
Shame that one didn't go down. That'd be nice at the first run. Again, it's not easy standing on a little wooden block that's only 6 inches wide, balancing, shooting at a target that's 6 inches across at 75 metres. It's not easy.
Well, Dan Starnes has gone for the furthest and most difficult targets first, working his way back. You don't think that's the best way?
I don't. For me personally, I'd always go near to far. It lot depends on the optics you've got and how you shoot. I mean, the back, I guess, from pictures, because they're bigger, they're more in the eye line to shoot, but I would always go near to far. That's a good thing about practical shooting. There's no right or wrong way. Whichever suits you. I might shoot this way and come on last.
Generally what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks. Again, we're moving on. So thus far today, I'm a pain parasite and I'm crap. Oh, thanks for this.
Only words that are coming out of your mouth. Nothing to do with me.
Right, I'm glad to see that Tom Ellaway won that one.
I'm moving swiftly on. Yeah, Dave Hill second, Jim Starley third, Marty Secker fourth. That's a good run by
Yeah,
him.
Marty'd be happy with that, I'm sure. And look at Dan Starnes. Look at that. Again, new shooter coming in sixth. He did that very well. Ben Ducker down 11th. I guess there's either a problem or he wasn't happy that day. Then Martin Patrick again continuing his fairly rough day. And then Gary we saw shooting with the Rons back. Again, new shooter. Shot very well.
And Paul Van Den Bosch, Neil Wheeler, still not having a good day. He's been around there all day, hasn't he? And Dave Salmon's had an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, that's a tough.
The other thing to consider is that I've got a barrier here. Let's assume we've got a longer distance target. It's always better if you can, is to steady yourself on the barrier itself. Now, this isn't very solid, okay? Not going to be able to lean it too much, but I can still get a hand on it and give me a better position. Now, I'm left-handed, so I'm shooting right-hand this time. What you want to do is with your hand is grip the barrier in any way you can and then give yourself a bridge for the gun to sit on. Anyone who's played snooker or pool, that's what we're looking to do. If you hold the gun and try to hold it against the barrier, it's going to cause swing around the place. So I can get a much more solid position. If I go on, hold the barrier, it's much easier. And the same thing applies. If I'm manoeuvring the gun with the weight of my body, I can very quickly get on and put it around on target than I can do by holding it close to my body. Having it away from my body is a process, it gives you that room for manoeuvre. Right, so we'll try it again. So again, it's typical barrier, not very solid, but it gives me just enough to maybe stabilise the barrel a bit more to give me a better shot on target. Okay, simple barrier type process behind it, and the same thing applies underneath. Okay, so we've got a low aperture here as well, and it too is you either sit down or kneeling, same process behind. And what I found with people who kneel and shoot is they kneel the wrong way. Okay, the idea about kneeling is that you actually have your supporting hand with a knee up. So this is my supporting knee, here's my shooting hand, my elbow is on that knee, that's what gives me a stable position. It's very common to see people come through and they'll do that. Not very helpful. So what we're trying to think is that if you're a left-handed shooter, your left knee needs to be up. If you're a right-handed shooter, right knee. So if I go that way, it's much more comfortable and I go more accurate. If I go the other way, which actually feels odd to me, to be fair, I'm wobbling around already. So, when it comes to knees, now, I've seen people do this. They come up to the barrier and they're ready with that knee forward. Well, hang on, I need to change around. You are better off taking that step to going down that knee to lean it than you are trying to go the other round, because that gun is waving around. All right? So that's the thing you could practice. Again, at home, unloaded gun, or at range if you can, is taking that chance to go and practice going onto one knee, up again, and also around barriers. All right, and again, the barrier side of it. I'm a left-handed shooter. I spend half my life complaining about where the course of fire is going. And you can lean back. Now, one of my fellow competitors is much more of a gymnast than I am. I can't really get that far back. but it may be easier to actually lean back than it is to try and swap hands, which we'll cover second on. Okay, so that's something to consider. Also, notice in all these shooting we do, I'm shooting 2 rounds each time. Okay, there is no point practicing unless you're practicing for competition. So every time we compete, we're putting 2 rounds into a target. Granted, yes, steel targets have 1 shot to fall, but most of the stuff is paper targets, therefore 2 rounds count. Therefore, you might as well train in the way you're going to shoot. All right, try practice that if you can. Home with unloaded gun, at range if you can. But this sort of thing you do over and over again. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect.
Okay, so here are the match results for round 4. Jim Starley taking the overall win ahead of Ben Ducker. It was kind of inevitable, that wasn't it? But Steve Goth in third. We didn't see that coming.
Steve shot there very well. The stages that we saw were very good, so it's a well-deserved 3rd place. He'd be very happy with that, beating Tom Ellaway into 4th, and then Kelvin obviously down to 6th. So it's so again not a great one for both of those.
And here are the overall standings. Jim Starley topping the championship, still ahead of Ben Ducker. Tom Ellaway ahead of Kelvin Leeton after that result.
And again, in senior, Lee does have, I think, another saleable lead now, but Nick and Dave are nip and tuck a little bit. Obviously, Dave's on more of the championships, Nick hasn't. And Paul van der Bosch, walk away super.
Okay, so another fantastic day out shooting here at Silverstone Shooting Centre. Jim kind of getting a strong hold on the title for the 2nd time.
I think so, yeah. I think you'd have to be a pretty strong betting man to assume he's not going to take this championship with 1 round left to go, or 2 rounds left to go. So there still seems quite close between 2nd place. There seems to be almost swapping of positions between Kelvin and with Tom. And then obviously senior with Lee, again, I think barring something tragic happening, I think he's definitely won this one. But still to go, and the last 2 rounds we've put some special stuff in there that I think will be amusing if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. That involves some golf buggies out on the 50 metre and the 100 metre range.